Hey guys, welcome back to Insomniac Stream. Today's video is for this Violet Venom paint, created last week during a charity stream to help raise money for cancer research. And if you would like to find out more about the campaign, then please check the description. But if you want to see how to bring it to life, then just keep watching. First thing I did was sketch everything out with a NYX Jumbo pencil in milk. I find the white is easy to kind of erase and move if you have to, if you find you make lines that you're not a huge fan of. I was looking at different pictures of Venom to get an idea for how the gooey structures move across the body. And I also did something similar in a previous look called Infected. So I was kind of just using a little bit of what I've done before and what I was looking at here. And then I also based out the mouth section, which again, I've kind of done before when I did my giant smile tutorial, so I'm kind of just a variation of that. And then I'll fully admit there's a part where I kind of cheated in this look, and that is that I didn't want to have to try and hide my eye amongst the white section. That's usually where Venom's eyes are. I just find with my eyes, the illusion doesn't work. It tends to be very, very obvious where my own eye sits. So to kind of get around that and definitely take the easy way out was to just use some of the tendrils kind of crawling around my eye. And then I had fun kind of hinting at the Venom logo, but definitely wasn't going for anything clean or complete there. Then taking purple Mehron Paradise paint, I started applying this all over the little sketch lines I had laid out. You can obviously have a little bit more fun with the tendrils that come off at this point, but it was just a good way to have a guide ahead of time. And then this part is pretty much just filling in all of the base structures with purple, nice flat color to build on top of. Making sure to leave room for the detailing for the mouth, as well as if you sketched in any holes or gaps, make sure to outline them here so they stand out better. And then I also just quickly add a little bit of white to the Venom logo because I almost forgot to do that. The eyes I kept pretty simple. I just wanted a dark, smoky purple eye. Thought it suited the look. So for this, I just laid down a soft purple color in the crease for blending. And then I used a SUVA beauty shadow to go all over my lid, which is kind of an iridescent purple. And then again, softened that out and blended it up. And then I took a matte black shadow and applied this right along my upper lash line and blended it up to kind of create that smoky effect. I also threw on a fairly thin line of liquid liner just to make sure the eyes were as dark as possible at the lash line. And then I also just filled in my waterline with a black pencil. To start building up a little bit more depth and texture, I took Violet from the Mehron Paradise paints and started applying this to the underside of all of the edges that extend to the other side of my face or chest. So I wanted to kind of act as like a drop shadow since it's darker, and then also put it on kind of the top sections of any circles or gaps you've made. This again would be that drop shadow that would shine over if there was a little hole in the violet ooze going across your body. And then I also just created different kinds of squiggles and lines across the entire flat purple area. I love that Venom, especially in more live action forms, tends to be very textured, usually more shiny and gooey, so this is a bit of an easier way to kind of just add a little bit more visual interest. Then, since the darker purple just added a bit of shading, I wanted to also add a bit of highlight, so I went back with white and kind of did the opposite of everything, so along the top of all the tendrils as well as kind of along the bottom of the circles or gaps technically. And this again, just to start building up shine and create a little bit more three-dimensionality. To start working on the mouth, I actually first started with the gums. I find this adds a little bit of extra depth to any mouth illusion, is to have the gums kind of peeking through. So I used a pink to go all around the teeth shapes that I'd already sketched in. And then also put this into the area at the side of the mouth, which is supposed to kind of look like stretched skin. And then also filled in that skin with purple, so it made a little bit more sense. And then I just followed that by going over all of the teeth with a white water activated paint, trying to create kind of these very sharp teeth that Venom tends to have, very much a reverse teardrop shape. And then of course following that is just to fill in the rest of the gap area with black. The black not only will hide your own mouth shape, of course, but also helps to kind of redefine everything. If you find some of the teeth have been misshapen in the white stage, this is a great stage to kind of be able to clean them up and make them sharper, more defined, things like that. Then using a small amount of black and the very tip of the small detail brush, I went ahead and kind of outlined along the gums and along the edges of the teeth to again separate them a bit. And then I also outlined that back section of the mouth so it made a little bit more sense. To give the teeth themselves a little bit more depth, I took a gray eyeshadow on a small brush and started adding this to the teeth throughout the mouth shape. There's teeth that I painted in to look kind of behind, so they are going to get more shading. And then you also want to make sure that you kind of have one side of the teeth being shaded because you still want it to make it seem like a light is coming from a certain side, as well as adding a bit of shading to the gum itself, just so it kind of has a little bit more texture going on as well. And then you want to follow that with a white water activated paint and put that along the edges where the light would be hitting for all of the teeth, as well as start adding shine to the gum area. And then much like my giant smile tutorial, no Venom look would be complete without at least a little bit of drool. So I went ahead and used the same water activated paint, kind of just adding little sections across the mouth, like little drips, pieces that are kind of overflowing out the bottom, and kind of just creating this idea of a little bit of extra moisture around the mouth. Last thing I did, because some elements just felt a little too flat, was to go back with the black water activated paint and add this to the same shadowed edges I had done with a lot of the dark purple, as well as go around the Venom logo a little bit just to kind of define it and give it a little bit more of that animated comic feel. Oh, and I lied, that apparently wasn't the very last step. The last step was a little bit of black shading across the piece as well, just with a black eyeshadow and some fluffy brushes. Last step was just to throw on a wig. You could pretty much do whatever you wanted for this. You could just slick your own hair back too, for make it even easier. And then that was it for my Violet Venom. Again, the Paint Violet Venom campaign will be linked in the description below. It is hosted by an amazing body painter on Twitch, one of my good friends, mcroft07. It is to raise money for Stand Up to Cancer UK. They are already crushing it with how much they have raised this month. It goes until the end of the month. If you guys want to contribute, again, I will have information in the description. Please check it out. Appreciate you guys very much taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing your comments on it. Thank you so much for watching. I, of course, will see you next video. So until then, bye guys.